So this is review number 2 for TE 914 English methods. This review will discuss writing instruction and how we got to that point. So before we actually got into writing instruction, we were discussing why literature. Some of the scholars that we referenced were Burke, Gillespie, Smith, Rosenblatt, and Langer. One of the points that really stuck out to me was that if we are to change how students engage in literature, we must change the essential culture of the classroom. We must transform literature and writing for our students. We must engage them. It has to be something that they comprehend, and in order to do so, they have to understand why. They need to understand why they're reading, why they're writing. We have to give them purpose. And one way we can do that is translating what literature communicates and how it communicates. So there's different purposes of literature. One of the categories was aesthetic literature, which would tie into literature like poetry, versus efferent, which is more informational, like informational texts. But as a teacher, we have to find strategies to integrate both into our lessons so that the students can engage. So after we discussed why literature, we moved into why writing. Something Gallagher shared was that his students have a tendency to believe that the entire world exists inside the walls of Magnolia High School. They suffer from tunnel vision and are often unable to see the bigger picture. So we want to be able to communicate to the students that they have a voice and they're capable of using it. And we want them to understand that literature and writing is a tool that they can use to communicate with the rest of the world. We want to broaden their point of view. So before we can start doing that, though, we have to right the writing wrongs. So often teachers neglect to teach writing in their classrooms. They assume that students already know the writing process. One point that stuck out to me is that their writing is a process. However, there is no specific writing process, and if we want to communicate to that to the students, we have to find different strategies that we can implement so that every student can understand why they're writing. So some different steps that we can include within writing instruction is to gather and generate ideas, design and draft the text, review and revise the text, proofread and publish the text, and then reflect and remember. These steps, if followed, can help you successfully come up with effective writing strategies that you can implement in the classroom. And ultimately, we want our students to become independent and able to create their own ideas and speak using their own voice. So, as Murray said, it's the responsibility of the student to explore his own world with his own language, to discover his own meaning. The teacher supports but does not direct the expedition of the student's own truth. So while we may guide our students while implementing strategies, ultimately we want them to create their own authentic work. So one of the passages that I focused on was ironically Focus from Jeff Anderson. And one of the points that Jeff Anderson makes in Focus is that students must narrow their topic. Often they create clutter in their essay because they write about a general topic instead of focusing on a smaller argument. One technique that Anderson shared with us was using a ladder to narrow their topic. So you start off with their broad topic and take steps down the ladder to narrow the topic. Another strategy that was discussed was looping, which serves as a tool for students who are having trouble developing their argument. So they write about for 5 minutes straight without stopping. They write about a specific topic, and when they're finished, they skip a few lines. They take the most important point in their writing and use that for the next paragraph and write for another 5 minutes straight until they're able to develop their own argument. So once students do that, in order to form a structured essay, we can help by through scaffolding by using sentence frames. Sentence frames are beneficial for students who are English learners, and it helps them get started, and it assists them in developing a frame around their writing, a borders for their introduction and for their conclusion. And one point that I focused on also was revision. I believe that a lot of teachers neglect to teach revision, and it's an important step in the process that we can't neglect, because we can't assume that students understand what revision means. If we provide feedback, we need to explain how they may apply this feedback. So all in all, writing instruction needs to have clear development, and we need to establish clear expectations with our students. Thank you.